Hey everyone, Brendan Graham Dempsey here, joined by Jason Ananda Josephson Storm, author of Metamodernism, The Future of Theory. We're here to announce something very cool, and I think people will be really interested in, which is a new academic journal dedicated to the metamodern paradigm called Metamodern Theory and Praxis. Yeah, Jason, say a little bit about this and where it comes from and why a journal.
Yeah, so really, one of the things that surprised me most about publishing the Metamodern book, of all the books that I published, it's my third, is that people kept emailing me saying that they're inspired to engage with it in some new or fresh way. People even emailed me and said, "How can I participate? I'm interested in this." Either some of them were scholars, most of them were scholars or graduate students, people at various points in their scholarly career, and they were like, "I love it. I want to do more with this. How can I sign up?" In other words, but also activist folks and art folks who found the revolutionary happiness at the end, or some other part of the project, the hylosemiotics, inspiring in some way or the other, and wanted to know, whether there was some venue or place or thing that they could contribute to that would advance metamodernism. And I didn't have anywhere to send them. And so talking to Brendan, we were like, let's do a journal. So we're doing a journal. This is going to be a new peer reviewed, and that's crucial for those of you on an academic track, but it's also going to be an open access journal. So everybody's going to be able to read it. We're never going to paywall it. It's not going to be one of those things that you have to sign up and give away your life credentials in order to read a PDF or something like that. And what we're interested in is both theory and praxis. So it's a journal for both scholars and artists slash activists, ordinary lay folk trying to put metamodern ideas or parts of the metamodern paradigm into play.
Yeah, awesome. Well said. And one of the major themes in the book is that this sort of set of interpretive strategies associated with postmodernism have kind of become this sort of hegemonic paradigm in the academy for so long, that with those diminishing returns coming from that sort of work, and with your book kind of framing a new set of approaches and a new way of thinking about these things, it seemed like a sort of obvious thing that these approaches should find a new avenue, a new academic institutional context for their exploration. So an academic journal just seemed like the right thing to do, and being able to bring together the various sorts of developing and still emerging strands of the discourse, and get some engagement with this set of ideas in a context where this can really start to influence the sorts of research that goes on in the human sciences and the humanities, and get a real flourishing conversation going, a real flourishing set of ideas that people are playing with and exploring together in a kind of a concerted way, that just sort of helps move the ball forward and advance this whole new paradigmatic approach to these crucial questions. So that, I hope, is what comes from this awesome journal.
So we're interested in stuff on the one hand that's more abstract and philosophical, that could grapple with fundamental issues in knowledge or meaning or language, or especially social ontology. And they can be things that advance the stuff put forward in metamodern scholarship, but they could also complicate it or refine it or refute it or develop alternatives based on working through or beyond postmodernism by means of postmodernism, as long as they don't terminate in the negative in a way that makes them totally unhelpful. So we don't want Baudrillard plus more Baudrillard. We want, unless that subverts Baudrillard and works out the other side to make something new and exciting. So that's one of the kinds of things we want. And I'm also excited to see case studies. And this is the thing that I've gotten some emails about in the past, but I know that the social kinds theory, for instance, people in a range of different fields have been thinking about how to use it in their scholarship. And we're also interested in attempts to kind of analyze the current moment in fresh ways. So it doesn't necessarily have to be with the theoretical edifice of metamodernity, but attempts to rethink emerging movements, either artistic, religious, cultural. It could be, you could be doing also, creative theological work that could also potentially qualify. And more broadly, as a, coming out of post-colonial theory, I'm always interested in what Boaventura de Sousa Santos calls an emancipatory, non-relativistic, cosmopolitan ecology of knowledges, end quote. So there are other kinds of decolonizing resources that you could bring to bear that might make a really exciting piece. So if that's on the scholarly side, On the Praxis side, we're looking forward to, or I'm looking forward to being surprised. It could be art, it could be a report on activist work, it could be applied metamodern theory, like you tried to use the social kinds theory to do something with housing authority in Brooklyn, and did it work or didn't it work, or something like that. Or it could be, art or poetry, or you could link to some music. But I think those are the two big pieces that we're trying to fit in.
Yeah, I think that largely covers sort of the ground bases of what this is. People can get a better sense of really what this journal is about by going to the website and the webpage there and reading more about it. There's a lot of information about the submission guidelines and more description of the journal itself. We are basically expecting this call for papers to run until early into 2024, by mid-January. So if you've been engaging with Jason's work and with metamodern thinkers more broadly, and you have an idea for a paper, maybe you've already been writing something and you're looking for a home for that, by all means, let us know, reach out. There's an email there for the submissions, and we'd love to bring these things together and begin to advance the discourse further. So that's basically all I've got to say. Any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think, one of the things, I've been reading histories of some of these journals for a little bit. I've been focusing at the moment on the journal, The History of Ideas. And one of the things that seems to make a vibrant and continuing journal is its ability to evolve. So this is just the first step, but we'll see where it evolves to. And I think now is a really exciting time for folks who might want to get in on the ground floor on the first steps of a new journal and a new, really scholarly paradigm in certain respects. If you look, the History of Ideas, for instance, some big names came out of the people who were early engaged in that journal, or in France. A lot of the figures that get called the defining figures of French theory all were focused on a small set of journals. So, really, this is where there's a chance to really have real conversations and hopefully really push the conversation to somewhere new and exciting. And the other thing I want to add finally is that we will be peer reviewing, and we will not penalize folks for not having certain academic credentials. In other words, while I'm very much encouraging and supporting my fellow scholars and professors to publish stuff, we're also excited to solicit work from folks who are still in graduate school, or people who only have, who don't have PhDs. As long as your scholarship is good, as long as what you're proposing is good, we're not going to hold that against you. We're not snobs in that way. And so, I think this is an exciting opportunity, and especially in the art space or the Praxis space, that won't be peer reviewed. That'll be just stuff that we choose to accept or not accept. And that could be, a great opportunity to put something out there that thinks outside the box in some way. And I don't know what that is, but I look forward to being surprised. Yeah,
100%. Thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing your submissions.